Welcome to DFS Insights. I'm David Geisler, and I'm joined by my cousin, David Grant Jr. The teams up on the block are the Los Angeles Lakers at the Golden State Warriors.
Yes, sir. This is where each of us are going to be giving you our three key players to focus on while creating each one of your lineups. Dave and I are going to give you a quick breakdown of what we like about our three main plays, and make sure to stay tuned to the end where we give out two absolutely free lineups.
Yeah, nice. Well, welcome back, everybody. Back, All-Star break is done, thank God, because All-Star break's so exciting. With that being said, now we can really focus down here because this is when everybody's playing basically for that spot for the playoff run here. So first matchup we're covering basically what tomorrow or Thursday is the first games of the week. And we got a pretty good one. We got Los Angeles Lakers going over to Golden State Warriors for a rematch of that double overtime loss there to Golden State by one. LA beat them by 1 point. Golden State is favored in this one by 4.5 points with an over/under sitting about 241.5. So that is a pretty decently high-scoring game there. Lakers are sitting currently at 9th in the West, while Warriors are 10th. And last 10 games, the Lakers 7-3, Warriors 8-2, and Lakers on a 3-game win streak, while the Warriors are sitting on a 1-game. So, yeah, looks to be kind of an exciting game. I think the biggest factors going into this are obviously the injuries, which I'll probably spend the next 20 minutes talking about because it is the Lakers. But another big factor, I think, and let me know what you think about this. This is, the first game basically, back from the All-Star break, and I think everybody's now, gonna tighten up. I would say, lack of better words, tighten up and start getting to it because wins are more important and the losses are more important from kind of here on out for the teams that are already in contention. I mean.
For sure, and the play-in tournament, now makes a difference as well. So it kind of at least gives some kind of incentive for not as many teams to be tanking towards the end. So, plus with the change in the lottery over the last couple of years, I like how they've done that. So, this should be an awesome, I'd say, second half of the season. But we're a little bit more, we're about 65% through. So. This is a big matchup, in the same conference. Like you mentioned, that first meetup went to double overtime. They still have 3 more times they'll be meeting. There must be something going on with LeBron's ankle because I thought for sure he was going to be playing, and for him to not to be playing in this matchup was a little surprising.
Yeah, now I'll with that I'll go into all the injuries here, so everybody just buckle up and bear with me on this one. So like you mentioned, LeBron is out, which is shocking. It's not a game time decision. I'm actually kind of glad that they did rule him out so I can plan accordingly and not sit there and stare at his tag until tip off. So that's good news. I mean, bad news because he is a pretty, good, player, DFS and stuff. But it's good to know that he's officially out. AD got the good old game time decision tag. He is probable. I don't see any reason he doesn't play. My assumptions right now is he is playing. Going down, Christian Wood is officially ruled out. So is Gabe Vincent and Jared Vanderbilt. So Christian Wood is out for about the next 2 weeks, so potentially see where his usage will be going. Gabe Vincent and Jared Vanderbilt has been basically out for the previous 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks or whatever, so they're not really a factor into that category. Cam Reddish looks to be coming back potentially from an injury, so we could see him in his first game back. He's been out basically since, the end of January. So we could see, him in this matchup. So keep an eye on that. And then also Max Christie, looks like he's game time decision, questionable with ankle injury. So I don't know. Their strength and conditioning coach over there in LA needs to buckle up there.
Sure.
Nothing too important really in regards to injuries for Golden State. We got Chris Paul out, but he's been out for quite a while now. So, but you do have Gary Payton, game time decision with an illness. So keep an eye on that as he is a decent play for that low salary player. He does get minutes, and he is a pretty decent points per minute kind of a player. So yeah, sorry it took so long to ramble all those off, but it is what it is. But we can head over here to these lineups, and you can start us off with that first of the three players you got to win this here.
So I'm going to go ahead and skip over the obvious of the Anthony Davis and Steph Currys. Those are just obvious to me. So my first play is going to be D'Angelo Russell. He's at 12,500. He's really been just stepping up, and especially post trade deadline. D'Angelo is what they're calling him even right now. His minutes have been up. I mean, his production's been up, and at 12.5 with what he's doing consistently, and with there being no LeBron, LeBron, there's three people that bring the ball up, basically LeBron, D'Angelo, and then Dinwiddie, who they recently have. So I think with LeBron being out, it will be interesting to see what kind of bump Dinwiddie gets, because now him going with the second unit, I'll be real interested to see how his usage goes up or how it fares. But I'll be playing D'Angelo Russell at the no lower than the pro spot. I don't know if I'm going to go quite as high as MVP, but I'll be having a lot of exposure at the star and the pro spot with him for sure. If just to get a little wild, if it seems like I have a chalky lineup, I might drop him down to utility. I'm thinking some other guys might do something, but man, I think with LeBron out, he's kind of the Knicks guy who usage is going to go up and who can get buckets and facilitate. So what are your thoughts on him, and who do you got for your first pick?
So my first pick is, I'm going to go with, D'Angelo Russell up on the screen here. Got, a few stats of his that I, like to pay attention to. So these are based on the last 5 games. You got his average minutes, 32.5 minutes. Usage is sitting about 21.9, which is, pretty decent. His average fantasy points in the last 5 games, 37.4, and he's projected roughly about 36.3 this matchup. As you do see, I like him actually in all 3 multiplier spots: the MVP, the star, and the pro. And he is a starter, so that also helps with it. His last matchup, they played against Detroit. Kind of looked over, some of the ownership there. He was sitting at about 4.5% in MVP, 11.9 in star, and 13 in pro. So you can also use that kind of to your advantage for ownership purposes there. I see roughly probably about the same, potentially even probably a little bit more in the star and the MVP since LeBron is out, since he is actually moving back here to the game logs. If you look at the last 3 games, LeBron was out: Utah, Boston, and the Clippers. He is actually doing really well: 48.3 fantasy points, 51.6, and a 46-point game. So the potential for him to get mid 40s, 50 point fantasy with LeBron out, like he's done it in literally the last 3 games. So I think that is a very good pick. and then that's why I'm choosing him as one of my players as well. So I will be having him in all 3 multiplier spots.
Okay, and yeah, after looking over, I was trying to look over a couple of things. It looked like he was in the winning lineup. LeBron and AD were both out, I believe, against Boston, and he was in that winning lineup. He was in the double overtime winning lineup when AD and LeBron were both in that game. But I believe even going back to the Utah game where it was LeBron or AD who was out, and he was in that winning lineup. So it does look like he's in winning lineups when LeBron or AD are missing. He's that other guy who steps up. So it's going to be about finding him in that right multiplier spot. And, well, I think if AD doesn't get hurt during this game, I mean, we all know what he can do.
Yeah.
But should the game get out of hand or something, D'Angelo Russell does, could be in the MVP spot, for sure. So
nice. Yeah. Moving on, I guess, to my second one. I'll keep it here with the Lakers. I'm going to go with Rui Hachimura, as I think he will be getting some decent time, some points now with LeBron out. He's averaging last 5 games 31.9 minutes. His usage is 21.7, which is pretty good, averaging about 25 fantasy points, and he's projected roughly about 23, so 22.8 points there. I don't think I'll go above the pro position with him, so pro flex is kind of where I like him, and then also based on his last performance, that's kind of where everybody else is too. He was basically not owned in MVP or Star. Star was at 0.3%, and Pro was 22, and Flex was 26.9. So he will be highly owned in either slot. So you're not really going to gain too much of an advantage there, but you are hoping. I am hoping that he's going to be one of the players that has, a decent, 25, 30 point game there. Probably in the flex. I'll have him more in the flex there. So
nice. Yeah, I mean, his salary at 9,000 and what his upside is, when LeBron is out, is definitely higher than Taurean Prince for sure. And even though the ownership is going to be high at that 9,000, if he hits 30 plus, he's probably going to be in the optimal lineup. And at that case, you kind of have to just eat the ownership and try to make your lineup different at another spot. So
with the games with LeBron out, 42.9, 31.6, and a 23.6. So
okay,
he's all over the place, it seems like, but I think it also bears, gives him more benefit too that also Christian Wood's out, so Christian Wood's not going to be getting any minutes. So,
and then possibly Cam Reddish too, because I know that this whole season, it's been musical chairs with those guys. It's been pretty wild. So
who do you got in your second pick for this one?
So my second pick, I'm going to go with Andrew Wiggins. Yeah, I'm just a big Wiggins fan. While he's made me a lot of money in basketball, he usually is really consistent. This season, man, he's kind of been all over the place this season, surprisingly. I really don't know why, but at 9,500, I do believe he should be starting. He's expected to start at small forward. LA's given up 30 points to starting small forwards. They're giving up, almost 6 rebounds. And Wiggins is a do-it-your-all kind of guy. He can take it to the rack. He can shoot the 3. I know the last game did go into double overtime, but he did have 39.5 fantasy points. And LA is on a first game of a back-to-back, Golden State being on their first game of a back-to-back as well. But again, at 9,500, he has the upside. Like against the Clippers, he hit 34. At Philadelphia, he hit 41. Um, he has the upside, at Philly again, 46. The Lakers, they gave him 40. Chicago, 41. So he has the 40-point upside at a guy at 9,500. So I just I like him because I'm really hoping his ownership is going to be lower than Kuminga or Pazitsky or Clay. I am leaving 500 on the table, so that does mean I could go up to Clay if I wanted to. Clay does seem to be playing well off the bench, but nonetheless, Andrew Wiggins is my second pick. What are your thoughts on that? And then who do you got for your next guy?
Yeah, I like Wiggins. So yeah, I mean he's still even. I would like to see him get starter minutes. Low 30s minutes, but he seems to be doing well with what he got. In 23 minutes against Philly, he did hit 40 and a half. So I mean he definitely has the potential there to get those high scoring games. It's I like him. It's just I'm trying to think in order to kind of set him aside. So the last matchup I had kind of here against the Clippers on the 14th, he was MVP 0.2%, 0.5 in star, 2.3 in pro, 26.3 in the utility. So in order to kind of get benefit from him, you got to kind of throw him in that pro.
In the pro,
and then you got to hope to obviously get 30 to 40 point game from him, which is possible. I mean, it's definitely probable. So that's the only thing you would have to take that risk and put him in the pro. But he is also a very good flex spot. I just think he'll be similar to Hachimura. He'll be highly owned in the flex. Those two will probably be, if I had to take a guess, one of the top 3 or 4 people that will be in the flex spot.
I fully agree, and that's why when we get to my third player, you'll understand my chalkiness at the other position. So but who do you got up next on the block?
Next up on the block, moving over here to keeping it with the Golden State Warriors. I got Mr. Brandon, probably butcher this, Podziemski there. So the stats I have up on the board here are for the last 5 games, 32 minutes, 17.1 usage, a little lower than I would like. His average fantasy points 31.8, and he's projected basically his average of 31.9 this game. The only thing I can just say about these stats are he's only had 1 of the last 5 games he's actually been the starter, and that was his the last one against Utah. So he basically took over Clay's spot as the starter. So yeah, I'm kind of curious to see obviously how that how his production goes up. Only using a 1-game sample is very tough on that. So, but the last game he did play, he was in the MVP basically not at all. The star 0.4%, pro 2.4, flex at 14.6. So I could see him being probably a little bit more owned now that he is a starter. And he's basically the same price as he was, the previous matchup. So I can definitely see his ownership, probably a little bit more in the pro, definitely more in the flex, especially now that he's getting, I guess, quote unquote starter minutes and starter probably usage now. But yeah, I do like that. I like him. He seems, eager to, jump in, and now that I guess probably the friction that he might have felt with between Clay, taking Clay's spot, it seems like Clay's kind of accepted that backup role now. So maybe,
it'll be very interesting going forward because also Kuminga kind of jumping up, and starting. I believe Kuminga's also starting. That really shakes things up for Clay to actually to be more efficient with the minutes he's given. So versus being, the third option or whatever, when, to start out, Clay might lose a little bit of minutes, but while losing a couple of minutes, 4, 5, 6 minutes, and again, he may still get some extra minutes, but now he's the head guy on the second unit. So that's something to keep a close eye on. The Warriors are obviously a pretty deep team. Um, with Moody healthy, if Peyton ends up being, if Peyton is healthy, he just has an illness now that he's back. He's only been back for 3 games, but if they can stay healthy and everything, I could see them. I think they have a better chance at the playoffs and whatnot than the Lakers do, even though everyone's trying to act like the Lakers have the better team and a better chance. But I would disagree. I think the Warriors have a better team than the Lakers.
Yeah. So who do you got your last pick?
So my last pick is going to go with a Laker. I'm going to go with Mr. Jackson Hayes at 7,500. This is because with LeBron out and with Christian Wood being out, and with this guy being, basically power forward center, I could see him getting some additional minutes, especially if Cam Reddish is still out. And, either way, Hayes usually seems to get some kind of minutes, and man, is he productive with them. I mean, his fantasy point per minute is really nice. Against Detroit, he had 13 minutes, 16 fantasy points. New Orleans, 17 minutes, 24 fantasy points. Against Denver, 17 minutes, 26 fantasy points. He got 33 minutes. Now, that's against Boston with no AD and no LeBron. But he got 33 minutes. He got 40 fantasy points. Just going down the line against Atlanta, 24 minutes, 27 fantasy points. He gets 4 steals, 3 steals, blocks. He does a little bit of everything. So I think he'll be low owned because a lot of people don't want to gamble. They don't want to gamble on his minutes. But man, if he gets just even at, he can do a lot of damage in 17 to 20 minutes, even 22 minutes. If I can hopefully get that out of him, this game could easily get out of control with no LeBron. I understand it went to double overtime, but that's because they had, missing LeBron for the Lakers. That's huge. LeBron played like 45 minutes that game. I think AD played 48. No, there's no way AD played 48. AD played 4. I know one of them played 48. Either way, Jackson Hayes will be super low owned. He'll be under 10%. My guess would be 7, maybe 7%, maybe 5% at the flex. The flex is most likely the only spot I'm looking to play him. You could put him in pro. This is not. There's just too many other people. The only way Hayes is going to be in the pro is if this game gets out of hand. Gets out of hand pretty early and stays out of hand. Could I see him getting that extra run? But again, with LeBron out, and at 7,500, that lets me get access to, AD, Steph, and Russell all in the same lineup. So, trying to get some of these, those top guys, this allows you to do that while, being chalky at some of those spots. But, here's where you can get a under 10% owned guy. So, what are your thoughts there? And I'm interested to hear your thoughts on Mr. Jackson Hayes.
Yeah, if I dropping down that low, I think he'll be one of the better plays. Last time he was, basically only about 8% owned in the flex. So you are getting some ownership value there. With LeBron out and with LeBron out and Christian Woods, I think he might be a little bit more owned because, like you were saying, it's just that the salary to help with those higher tier guys. I still think it's a gamble. Yeah, I would have to see, hopefully get some news in his favor, potentially some other person or something is hurt.
Hopefully. Oh, sorry, not to cut you off, but hey, what if Hashimura gets in foul trouble early? What if Anthony Davis gets in foul trouble early? Both of those guys are power forward, center, or power forward, small forward.
No, so, I mean, there's always scenarios, that happens, but you're definitely just be only playing that scenario, which, like you said, it's possible. It's high risk, high reward. So, that's basically that's how I would put it. Really, I mean, I'll have him in the lineups, like I said, for that savings and the potential of that happening. But as far as having him in majority, probably not.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, I'm thinking like, I mean, I'm going to be a little over the field on him. Actually, I guess I'll be over the field on him, but I'm still not, I'm not going wild on him by any means. I'm going to be trying to, because with the Lakers, you just never know who it's going to be. It could be Prince, it could be Hashimura, you know what I'm saying? Like it could be Austin Reeves. It's like it could really be anybody's, obviously. So but again, high risk, high reward. And I'm still leaving 500 on the table. So at least I'm not zeroing out my salary. Also had a lot to do with making that move in this specific lineup that you guys will be seeing.
Nice. Well, speaking of that, now that everybody's been waiting for, let's see what he's talking about with his lineups here. Moving on over to them. So you remember, your guys' insight does matter. Drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts on the key players we mentioned in this matchup. And also let us know who your top picks are. Which players do you think might be, the game changer? We would like to hear from everybody. Feel free to ask us also about any of the players that we didn't cover. We do research on, the whole matchup to make our selections. So we do have, stats, data, information on everybody that will be playing in this matchup. And also to, we do that research so we can create multiple lineups. But yeah, we're here to, discuss and to share our thoughts with this DFS, community. Hopefully, we are getting, bigger, day by day. So make sure you do hit that like, subscribe, and, comment anything down below. So that way we can get put out in front of more people and start growing this community more. With that, I will see you guys on the leaderboards and send you over to David to send us off here.
Yes, sir. Good luck to everybody out there. This is this is my favorite part of the year. I love this part where football has ended and now we got, nothing but NBA. I think, before we were doing some challenges where we were doing some, 100-person leagues, and I was mentioning I'd give out, between $50 and $100 if someone took first. I think I want to try something new. I'm trying to get some, some comments generated down there. So if you guys build a lineup, you have to just show proof that you put the person in a lineup. But if you type in a guy who's going to be, under 15% owned, and then, what spot he'd be in. Oh, hey, he's going to be in the winning lineup and he's going to be at the pro spot. I will, if you show me proof that you took that risk and he is under 15% owned at whatever position you put him at, and you call out that position, I see you put him in a lineup, kind of like I'm doing with Jackson Hayes. I have him in the utility. I put him in a lineup. I will Venmo you $50. So, that way you can put that down in the comments, and everything. It's just another way for us to have fun, and we could kind of see who you guys are seeing as the low own guy that you're putting in your lineups to help us as much as we're here to help you. So. Yep. See you guys up at the top, and we'll have another video out here within another day or two. Good luck.